The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern. That's 7 p.m. Pacific until 11 p.m. Pacific on the Talkstar Radio Network and our vast and growing family of broadcast affiliates across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, 20 Asian countries, and across Europe. If you'd like to give us a call, our toll-free number is 1-877-528-8255. That's toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii at 1-877-528-8255. My email address is xzone@xzoneradio.com. On MSN Messenger, talkstarradio@hotmail.com, and our two websites, www.xzoneradio.com and www.xzonetv.com, where you can watch, chat, and listen to the coolest radio audience anywhere going. My moderator at xzonetv.com is Rob from Scarborough, Ontario. My producer tonight at Master Control of the Talkstar Radio Network is Miss Melanie. And we've got a great show lined up for you. We had to rearrange the schedule a little bit. Ken Thomas, who was scheduled to be our first guest, isn't at home yet. So we asked Dr. Mary Zennett to just to switch with Ken, and she graciously did. And Dr. Zennett is going to be with me in a few moments. So we have Ken Thomas from Steam Shovel Press. We're going to be talking about conspiracy theories with Dr. Mary Zennett. We're going to be talking about the medical profession and natural remedies and how it seems the government is handcuffing the doctors. So we're going to be talking to her about that. Sue Allen is going to talk to us about her new book called Spirit Release and Psychic Attack. And then with St. Patrick's Day around the corner next week on Tuesday, who better to lead us into a St. Patrick's Day weekend than Doug Elwell talking about Ireland from his mysterious world. That's tonight here on the X-Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network. Today is, Friday, March the 13th. Another Friday the 13th. Oh, I'll tell you, these Friday the 13th, I used to think they were lucky days for me, but I'm having second thoughts after the last one I went through. On this date in 1519, Cortez landed in Mexico. In 1639, Harvard University is named for clergyman John Harvard. On this date in 1781, the planet Uranus was discovered. In 1868, the impeachment trial of President Andrew Jackson began. On this date in 1877, Maine teenager Chester Greenwood patented the earmuffs. And in 1884, Standard Time was adopted throughout the United States. Now, today is Friday the 13th, the most unlucky day of the year. That's if you don't include April the 15th. Dana Delaney turns 53 today. William H. Macy turns 59. And Neil Sedaka turns 70 today. All right, here are 13 facts pertaining to Friday the 13th. No, I think we'll do them later on, because when we come back from this 2-minute commercial break, we're going to be speaking with Dr. Mary Zennett. It's going to be a very interesting hour, X-Zone Nation. And we'll be back on the other side of this commercial as the X-Zone continues on the Talkstar Radio Network from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. It's Friday night, gang, so I hope each and every one of you has a real super weekend. And whatever you do, play safe, be good, and if you drink, for heaven's sake, don't drive. We'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute break with Dr. Mary Zennett as the X-Zone starts for tonight, Friday, March the 13th, in the year 2009.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine like hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining room can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you're visiting, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, Old Florida cuisine at its best. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone broadcast network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
Are you interested in the paranormal, ghosts, UFOs, or psychic phenomenon? Join me, Tim Bartley, co-host of Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, coming mid-January 2017 to the XZBN. We will channel spirits live and talk to them, revealing all kinds of amazing information. Spiritual attachments will be found and removed on the show, and so much more. To find out when you can listen to Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, visit www.xzbn.net for listeners on both sides of the veil.
I hope you have the time of your life this weekend, and wherever you are, play good, be safe, and take care of each other. My guest this hour is Dr. Mary Zennett, and as medical research continues to confirm that many natural remedies to common and sometimes catastrophic illnesses are safe and effective, many physicians find themselves in an untenable dilemma. While their Hippocratic oath demands that they do no harm and are required to treat the patient in front of them regardless of the circumstances, they are prevented by law from recommending alternative natural therapies that may well help and even save many patients' lives. This causes a series of restrictions placed on them and promoted vigorously by guess who, gang? Yeah, big pharmaceutical companies, who stand to lose millions of patients. Not only patients, but millions and millions of dollars if patients are guided toward non-pharmaceutical cures. And this is according to our guest tonight, Dr. Mary Zennett, author of Health for Us All, The Transformation of the U.S. Healthcare. She believes that we need to break the stranglehold placed on physicians so that they can be true to their oath and help patients for whom pharmaceuticals are not a solution. Now, our guest tonight, Dr. Mary Zennett, MD, MBA in Healthcare Administration, has been a practicing psychiatrist of 22 years, founder of the National Alliance for Health Reform. She is committed to mobilizing a grassroots movement of citizens committed to patient-centered, cost-effective health reform that incorporates wellness and prevention. Mother of 2 young adult sons, she is committed to reforms that will improve quality of life for the next generations. Her motto is patient first. Dr. Mary Zennett, welcome to the X-Zone.
So much.
So great having you with us, Doctor. I love what you do.
Thank you. You know, it's a calling. It's to be very honest. And at this moment in time, I see it as more important than ever. The good news in all this, there are great products and services that can work either alone or with conventional health care. It was just announced, you may have heard there are health reform hearings, that we can save 75% in our chronic disease costs by the integration of natural health into the mainstream.
So what is the problem, Doctor? Pharmaceuticals, their basis was back into natural remedies, and it's from the natural remedies that the synthetics were created. And
Absolutely.
It seems, Doctor, that for every disease that is cured, another 2 or 3 pop up, and giving the pharmaceutical companies that much more of an edge and a way of making more money.
You know, it's so true. I hear from patients every day. They take a medicine, then they get side effects of the medicine, then they take another medicine. I see patients in a large community mental health center. They're coming in on the average 5 meds. There are many that are taking over 10 meds. Now, I'm a psychiatrist. I'm seeing a full range, from young people all the way to seniors. But, I have friends and colleagues that are internal medicine docs. Their patients are coming in on the average between 10 and 20 medications. Houston, we have a problem here.
Big time, and we're not even Apollo 13.
Exactly. And the healthcare system is going broke. Hello? Watch the news every day.
Exactly.
The government's out of money, and we're throwing more money, and it's upside down. It's totally upside down.
The healthcare system is out of money, but the pharmaceutical companies are making billions and billions of dollars on the poor people who are sick and who basically can't afford health care.
Exactly. And, I'll be very honest with you. I talk to lots of people in health reform. I know there's a lot of very well-intentioned people that want the universal health care, the single-payer health care. They say this is going to solve the problems, and their intention is good. And I know many of these people, and I love them for their heart and their commitment to health. But I'm looking at it from different lenses. I'm looking at it from the patient perspective and asking, what about the quality of care? What about the cost that we are spending for the care? And why do our poorer patients not deserve same high-quality care that begins with natural health? Why is that in the dark ages for our poorer patients or our Medicare? Medicare is us. We're going to be retiring in the next 10, 20 years, hopefully. And don't we want products and services that can help keep us healthy?
Well, I think we have to look back in time to try and understand why we need all these medications for all these diseases that are here now that weren't here 30, 40 years ago.
Exactly. And that's an excellent point. When I look back, and I researched a lot to write my book, Health for Us All, The Transformation of U.S. Healthcare, and it was a great opportunity for me to learn even more. I've been in the system for so long and been so frustrated.
Yes.
But what I see is that back in the late 1930s, the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act was passed. And that's a linchpin, the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. It empowered the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, to have unrestricted authority. And the FDA back then was fighting what they called snake oil. Remember we used to hear all about this?
Sure, yeah, the guys used to stand on the back of wagons, and they would go into towns and they just sell this snake oil.
Exactly.
Yep.
So to protect the public, they had these laws that said no dietary, what it amounts to, I'm not giving you the wording, but the theme is no dietary supplement can claim to cure, treat, or mitigate disease. And that's been reinforced over the years in only a drug that's properly measured with proper ingredients and good standards, quality standards. Well, there is a place for good standards, but we have come light years in the natural health field, and there are incredible high-quality products and services that are manufactured with the same quality standards.
If not higher quality standards.
Higher quality standards, absolutely. But by law, so there's a lot of different, in the healthcare, there's lots of different parties and interests and all this. But somehow, some way, those laws must be changed if we're going to have the full access that we need on a large scale to keep us healthy.
By the way, the major ingredient in all the different snake oils that were being sold going back into the 20s and 30s and mid-40s was alcohol.
Wow. One of the greatest poisons for the human body.
That's right. And then when we're looking at natural remedies, it's a wonder that the FDA has not put a ban on products such as Ricola from Switzerland, the herbal cough drops.
The herbal cough drops, exactly. But let's not give them any ideas.
Oh, no, heavens no. I know. It's so ironic because you've got these great products out there. Ricola works better than any other cough drop on the market.
It sure does.
So this just goes to show you
That's right.
that the natural remedies work much better than the synthetic ones. And this is why no drug company advertises on my show.
Isn't that? It's the truth.
Yes, it is.
Truth. And we must make this shift. I mean, we are in a crisis. This is a crisis. We don't want to exaggerate this. But I tell you, when I started researching my book a couple of years ago, intuitively, I knew it, but I started looking at the figures and saying, wait a minute, there is no money. We've got all these aging baby boomers. They're expecting to have medical care from the time they retire to the time they die. Where is it coming from? And there will be no money to bail this illness industry out. That's the bad news. It's like, guys, the clock is ticking here, and we must make a shift. We don't have time to sit passively anymore and wait for the government to do it for us. The good news is there are incredible products and services, and I see us at this is a threshold. It's been talked about for years, the switch from the illness industry to the wellness industry. And I see we're right at that crux. It's a critical time right now.
It certainly is, because something's got to happen, and happen soon. You've got more and more people getting sick. The healthcare industry is suffering. The staff is overworked. They can't get enough professionals within the healthcare industry right now in order to make the scheduling ends meet. You've got costs that are continually rising.
That's right.
And it's a vicious cycle.
Yes.
Now, any other cycle, you just remove one of the proponents, and the cycle falls. So what is the one that we have to remove here? Big Pharma.
Well, and I see now what I see happening is interesting. I see they're too big. The number one, we know Big Pharma, but as a doctor, I still have the choice. There's still a choice. What I see happening is that as the numbers are exponentially rising of healthcare costs, I hear all these health reform proposals happening in Washington, and what I see being proposed as solutions is more and more government regulations. And this will end. I've talked to many doctors like myself that have a holistic mindset. We practice in the mainstream. We're happy when we can get our patients off some of these medications. That's a great day for us.
Certainly.
But people like us will not be able to practice because what they're looking at doing is having standards of care with protocols. For a certain disease, you must prescribe this, and this. Now, what is this? We went to school, we studied medicine, we want to treat the patient holistically, and that is my worst fear with a government-run health care system.
Doctor, you and I have to take a commercial break with the news at the bottom of the hour. Please stand by. Exonation, Dr. Mary Zennett is our very special guest. Health for Us All, the transformation of the U.S. healthcare. That is her, the name of her book. Her website is www.healthforusall.com. Once again, the name of the book is Health for Us All, The Transformation of U.S. Healthcare, and her website is www.healthforusall.com. My name's Rob McConnell, and this is the X Zone. We'll be back on the other side of the news as we continue live and around the world right here on Talkstar.
Whether it's the arrival of Planet X in 2012, the Earth's crazy weather cycles, our deadly global warming, Armageddon, UFOs, ETs, terrorism, the critical mass 2008 presidential elections, Dr. Jason Rand talks the talk and walks the walk. Being a twice-nominated Grammy record producer, recording artist, publisher, lecturer, UFO ET researcher and investigator, and best-selling author of The Return of Planet X, Mankind's Ongoing Legacy with a Brown Dwarf Star, Dr. Jason Rand truly does walk the walk and talk the talk. For more information on Dr. Jason Rand or to order The Return of Planet X, visit his website at www.returnofplanet-x.com or call 901-336-9660.
And where will you be in the year 2012?
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
Even Huey Lewis wants a new drug. There you go. 1-877-528-8255 is toll free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. Welcome back to the X Zone. My name is Rob McConnell. My special guest this hour is Dr. Mary Zennett, and we're talking about how doctors are being handcuffed by the government on natural remedies. As medical science begins to accept the idea that natural remedies can be as effective, if not more effective, than pharmaceuticals, it seems the gap between those two treatments and the patients who need them widen. And this is according to Dr. Zennett. And this is a quote, mainstream medicine may show considerable resistance. Healthcare followers are quite apprehensive about pharmaceuticals and the mainstream healthcare system as a whole. Thus, we have two completely separate and distinct worlds of healthcare that rarely communicate and collaborate with each other. Yet patients are seeking this integration from their doctors and from the healthcare systems as a whole. Moreover, there are many patients who can't take pharmaceuticals because of the side effects, or because they are taking other medications that don't interact with them well together. In many cases, the use of natural remedies may represent the only relief that they will ever feel from their symptoms. And Dr. Mary Zennett is with us tonight. The name of her book is Health for Us All, The Transformation of U.S. Healthcare, and her website is www.healthforusall.com. Dr. Zennett, how do you treat a patient who has problems with interacting prescriptions? And isn't this a little bit of a wedge that the medical community can actually use with the FDA to get natural remedies approved?
What I believe needs to happen is that more of my colleagues need to recognize the problem. You know, what I see is everyone is so busy, everybody is so tired, they're worn out. most of my colleagues today that have private offices are working with paperwork and bureaucracy till 9 or 10 o'clock every night. That's included. Part of my solutions for health care that are included in my book are a marked simplification. Just having been through this maze of bureaucracy and paperwork for so many years, I brought up some real suggestions for ways that we can simplify it so that we're not going broke at spending all this money on paperwork. Why do we need 30 insurance codes? Well, let's just agree on 3, A, B, and C. And there's such a lack of standardization and simplification that's so needed. I remember when I had my own office, there was a time I got so frustrated with the overhead, I ended up leaving, filling out my own paperwork to submit my own bills, because the poor person that I had doing the billing, they were so bombarded and irritated, they were losing claims, and I got a first-hand look at how absolutely horrid the bureaucratic side of healthcare has become. Now, my concern is that people think the government-run healthcare is going to solve that problem. I can tell you there are very few doctors that even like working with our current healthcare, federal system. I have a hard time finding Medicare and Medicaid providers. So if their problem is the same as mine was, it's a minefield trying to fill out all the little boxes and all the the regulations, and I'm not criticizing the people in these companies, the Medicare. I love these people. I love working with them. But the system has failed. We've made it so cumbersome and complicated. We don't have any doctors who want to take these insurances anymore.
So what do we do? How can we, the public, help you, the medical practitioners, to get this point across and to make these changes happen?
There are multiple ways. One way, and I'm working on it right now, because since my book was released, I've got, there are numerous people and parties that are interested in collaborating, and let's put our heads together and dialogue together, is if you would opt in on my website, thehealthforusall.com, there's a little place where you can sign in. I know who you are when we are ready to launch a larger campaign, and we're preparing it right now. I will let you know. And I can assure you I'm not going to bombard you with emails. That's not my intention. But we're going to reach a point very soon where we need to have a united call to action. And that means people that are opt into my organization, people that I'm collaborating with right now. We need to have a united front. We really do.
Where do you see naturopathic medicine in the future?
I see it as a vital source of primary care. I see people in the next 3, 5, 10 years being cared for by their naturopathic doctor. We have a critical shortage of good quality primary care docs. Most of the primary cares I work with are awesome, the MDs, but they're few and far between. So we need an army of primary cares, and I see the naturopaths as playing an integral role in fulfilling this critical shortage of primary care. Naturopaths are masters of the natural, obviously by their name, but they understand the concept of detoxification. We people are bombarded with environmental toxins. You mentioned alcohol.
Yes.
Well, every time you're drinking, and we have people drinking every day, that builds up in the system. The liver needs a detox. How about the air we breathe? Now they're linking problems with, the newer carpets that are, chemically coated, and all of this. The air we breathe, the water we drink. Naturopaths understand the concept of detoxification. How can the body clean out so that it doesn't get sick? It's like having a car that needs frequent oil changes. And the naturopaths are masters. That's what they studied. That's what they went to school for. Now, I believe naturopaths need to work side by side with the mainstream doctors.
Mm-hmm.
I know there are many people who really benefit from both, from excellent naturopathic care, and then if a disease crops up, from excellent mainstream care, but they need to work side by side, hand in hand.
Do you think it's an ego problem at times?
Yeah, I do. But I tell you what, there's little ego left in mainstream. What I've seen in the past 10 years is we doctors, we have become slaves, and I don't like to say that, but it's the only way I know how to say it, is to the insurances, the payers, big business, big industry, and my colleagues, colleagues that I work with, top-notch MDs, are telling me the same thing. It's, what have we done? And now we don't have a voice. We lost our voice advocating for our patients. And if this health reform is really going to happen, like they're saying, before the end of the year, we doctors need to get on track and get our voice back to advocate for our patients. Because if we don't, who is going to?
You know, the doctors who are making the noise or making the loudest sounds to get the naturopathic medicine and the natural remedies for their patients are the ones who, in my opinion, really care and who are putting the patients first.
Oh, I have colleagues, friends and colleagues. They're MDs. They're so well trained.
Yeah.
They went to school. They, on their own, extra, balancing a huge practice to learn these strategies, these natural strategies and techniques. And they're the pioneers. So they're the ones that need to be included and have an integral part in this U.S. health reform debate. They're there.
We just have to get the voices heard.
Exactly.
The squeaky wheel gets the oil.
That's right.
So let's start squeaking, Exxon Nation.
Oh, yes, absolutely. The time for us as Americans, and I say this in general, in every sector, is gone. If we want something done, if we see problems, we need to study it, we need to connect, we need to collaborate, and we need to say, government, this is what is going to be done. We've got to get to a point where we say, we don't ask anymore. We need to unite. Obviously, one person can't do this, but you can see, and again, when I wrote my book, I started 2 years ago, I had no idea we would be in the total situation that we are right now in this nation. And I still believe we are Americans. Mm-hmm. We collectively can and must solve the mess we're in. And as far as healthcare is concerned, natural health and integrated medicine is a pivotal part of the long-term solution.
But you see what has happened, and this is only my opinion, what has happened over the years since the founding fathers formed this great country is that we forgot one very simple, basic principle. We the people.
Exactly.
We've forgotten that the strength and the power of that, the unification of each and every man, woman, and child in the country, the impact that it has. And you can actually make that change. And this is what the founding fathers were thinking when they said, we the people.
That's right. Each one of us plays a pivotal. We think, oh, well, I'm just one person. No, it's one person at a time.
Exactly.
And it's a ripple effect. And you can see it's starting to happen now.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, when I started writing my book a couple of years ago, I had no idea that we would be, our nation would be at this critical point right now. Mm-hmm. But it's just time. It's time that each of us, in our particular areas, for me, it's health. There are other people, and I hear them rising up. They understand the economy. They understand trade. They understand all this. We need people. I heard, I got a phone call from a survey about new alternative energies just several days ago, and it was fascinating. And I had to say, I was listening to the questions, I don't know a lot about this. But the question was, if you knew people who understood citizens, would you want them to have a pivotal voice? Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. We citizens that are knowledgeable in these various sectors and industries, we need to rise up, make our voices heard, and literally take back our nation to serve our people.
All right, you're going to be the next president. That's it.
No, we're going to do it together.
All right, you've got a deal. You've got a deal. Yeah. I've got a very close connection with the medical profession and naturopathic medicine, so you count me on your team.
Absolutely.
Now, how can our listeners tell the difference between a clinically tested natural remedy that may actually be effective from the ones that don't work, the snake oil ones?
Very important. On the bottles of quality natural supplements, they state good manufacturing practices, GMP. And that's very important because it means that these products have been manufactured with the same quality standards that actually it was derived from the pharmaceuticals. Now, what are we talking about? They're natural, but all the products are measured. Every ingredient is standard. And believe me, even in recent years, 10 years ago, I heard about a dietary supplement company, just a little company. Well, there were no standards for cleanliness. Well, for heaven's sakes, we don't want to be taking that.
No.
But if you've got a good GMP seal of approval, and any of these natural supplements, they have websites, they have your contact team. You want to see that there are doctors, MDs, PhDs that were involved in the development of these companies. Like I said, some of these little companies and I'm not criticizing little because there's some little awesome companies, but you don't know what's in your product. So you really want to watch that and make sure that it's standardized and it's balanced and it's got, and this is where I believe collaborating with a doctor, naturopath that understands all the ingredients is helpful. I would also alert our listeners, please check in your pharmacy. If you are on medications, you want to make sure there are no potential interactions with what you're taking, and if you are taking a pharmaceutical, pharmacists have incredible databases. They can pull up the latest research. So if you're in doubt, at work I pull up some of that. There's some excellent programs. But if you're in doubt, if it's late at night and you want to take something, ask your pharmacist first.
A lot of pharmacies have the interaction alarms built into their computer programs, and that's why it's always so important to find a pharmacy that you're very comfortable with and stay with them.
That's right.
Because all the records are in one place, and the pharmacist is your best friend.
Absolutely.
Doctor, you and I have to take our final break for this hour. Dr. Mary Zennett is our special guest. Her website is www.Health for Us All. She's the author of Health for Us All, The Transformation of U.S. Healthcare. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network, coming to you live and around the world from our studios. Where? Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. We'll be back.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
19 Sergeant Central. 19 Sergeant, check. Officers on the scene.
Hi, I'm Larry Lawson, host of Paranormal Stakeout. With over 36 years in law enforcement, I have learned a few things. The most important is the proper gathering and preservation of evidence is vital to putting the bad guy behind bars. It's no different in the world of paranormal investigation. Whether it's the search for the afterlife, cryptozoology, UFOs, and extraterrestrials, how we gather the evidence, preserve that evidence, and present it to a jury of our peers will make the ultimate difference in proving the existence of worlds and entities that are beyond our imagination. Join me, Larry Lawson, every week on Paranormal Stakeout when, along with my guests, we'll take a journey to prove with indisputable evidence what man has struggled to believe for centuries. Go to xzbn.net for the broadcast schedule and check me out at paranormalstakeout.com.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A soul balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today. www.soulbalancing.world.
Dr. Mary Zennett is our special guest. Her website is www.healthforusall.com. That's healthforusall.com. The name of her book is healthforusall.com, The Transformation of U.S. Healthcare. And this is another quote from Dr. Zennett. How can we claim to have the best health care in the world when so many patients have to do without, simply because a powerful special interest group, pharmaceutical companies, are able to strong-arm the government into preventing doctors from even talking about them? Dr. Zennett asked, "It seems like shades of George Orwell's 1984 when the government can control what honest professionals are allowed to say. It needs to end." First of all, Doctor, I want to thank you so much for being with us tonight. I love what you do, and if there's any way that we can help you here on the show, you just let me know, and you've got an open invitation.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate it.
All right, we're talking, natural medicine. The medical profession is seeming to open up the door to different medical or paramedical, how should I call them, treatments. For example, light therapy. Light therapy was used in the 50s, and then somewhere around 1959 to 62, the pharmaceutical companies made a big stink about it, and that was cut off. But now I know that some doctors are recommending alternative treatments and naturopathic treatments like acupuncture, Reiki, and I guess this is a sign of the times.
It is, and it's wonderful. And I think the good news is more and more doctors are aware. And I will tell you, there is less stigma for us doctors. Not that long ago, doctors could be sanctioned by a medical board and lose their license for talking about nutrition or complementary alternative medicine. So we're moving forward. We are moving forward. Now we've got some laws that need to shift, and we need to truly raise awareness in this mainstream health reform debate so that more dollars are not spent on illness care that could shift to wellness care. And when we say wellness, we mean the full battery of health and wellness. There are top-notch products and services, including dietary supplements, that can be incredibly helpful. Why can't we have these offered in our insurance plans? For example, if we have a health savings account, let's get those covered. And they're keeping us healthy. They're preventing illness. This should be what the government wants for us, to stay healthy and be productive and be fulfilled and citizens that really contribute to our nation and are not taking pills all the time.
We're running out of time and we've got less than a minute, but I'd just like to say, the government should also open their eyes to other aspects and jurisdictions under the Food and Drug Act. For example, genetically modified food. We don't know what the cause, what the long-term effect of these GMOs is going to be.
Exactly.
And get rid of aspartame. That's one of the worst things that was ever passed by the FDA.
Exactly.
Doctor, I'm going to have you on in a couple of weeks because we've got so much more to talk about.
Thank you so much.
It's been a great pleasure. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you very much for all your great work.
Thank you.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
Doctor. What a lady, Dr. Mary Zennett. Her website is www.Health for Us All. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as the X-Zone continues right here live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario. Don't go away.